Three to go. 3, 2, go. Wow. Gone quick. Gone really, really quick. And had Coventry not done so well in the FA Cup? And by the way, they are so unlucky not to make the final there. Ultimately, right, VAR was brought in for clear and obvious errors. A few millimetres is not clear and obvious. To the naked eye, they're going to look level. Unless you zoom it in to the most pixelated of pixels, then you're not going to see that those few millimeters. You're just not. And then for the clear and obvious stuff, like for example, Diaz being quite clearly onside for Liverpool against Tottenham when the linesman flagged him for off. That's a clear and obvious error that VAR should have picked up. And VAR didn't pick it up. In the same way that the fouls that Nottingham Forest weren't given in the penalty box against Everton were clear and obvious errors that VAR should have done better with. And just because I think they are clear and obvious errors doesn't mean I think Nottingham Forest's statement isn't a shambles. Is that still on their Twitter? I'm going to have a look. Is that... The first thing that's popped up on my timeline is look between H and L on your keyboard. I'm muting it. I'm muting that word. Okay. That statement still exists on Twitter. It has 43.8 million views. But you simply cannot... You cannot call into question the integrity of a referee like that. I also think... What was I going to say? I also don't... I was having this debate with one of my mates earlier, who is a Big Six fan and a fan of a Big Six club. And we weren't in agreement about this, but I don't think any Premier League club at the moment, after what happened with FA Cup replays, has any leg to stand on when it comes to the integrity of the game of football and standing up for football. Because for the vast majority, I said it the other day, 732 teams entered the FA Cup at the start of this season. Entering it at different stages, yeah, but overall, 732 different football clubs, different footballing institutions competed in the FA Cup this season. We're now down to 2, Man City and Man United. The fact that 20 of them can dictate what happens to the rest is mental. And we went over this the other day, and I'm not going to go through it again, but it's mad when you consider most Premier League clubs, like your Brentfords, for example, who Thomas Frank was calling it out. it's Brentford play minimum, if they get knocked out of every tournament earliest possible stage, they play minimum less games than anyone else in any of the 5 divisions below them if they also get knocked out of a competition at the earliest stage. In fact, it's 8 games less. Minimum. Naturally, Brentford are expected to go further in things like the FA Cup and Carabao Cup than, for example, Shrewsbury Town. But Shrewsbury Town will enter both the FA and Carabao Cups at an earlier stage, may also get in the playoffs in the division that one of these clubs competes in. And equally, they've got the Papa John's Trophy to go at, which I think realistically, any League One or League Two club has a chance of winning it. Anyway, we'll move on because I've got stuff to do. So, team news, Zaruri is the only absentee. Ref watch. The referee is Lee Doughty. 2 liners and Nigel Logan, Matt Smith. 4th official is Josh Smith, who refereed our game against Leeds, I think it was. Did a very good job in that game. Excuse me. Jensen, still haven't got any biscuits, mate. Very true. Like I said, I didn't watch the Watford game. That's why I didn't make a video about it. But by the sounds of things, we missed the penalty and that just took the life out of us. And then we just didn't go forward anymore. Tommy, hi. Theo, hi. Our penalty record isn't great. What's that? Last 3 out of 4 missed. Tufan, Philogene, Carvalho missed, and then Twine scored against Sheff Wednesday. Not good. Thomas, how you doing? Mark, how you doing? Coventry should have won. You're right. We had a good conversation about that earlier, Thomas, in passing. And yeah. I don't even think it's bias, to be honest, with the referees. I think it's just pressure and not wanting to upset the majority or what they perceive as the majority. And in a lot of cases, incompetence. But realistically, who's going to want to go into refereeing? They're not. They're simply not. When you consider the pressure and the scrutiny that they come under, no one's going to want to go into refereeing. Hi, Joe. Big game tomorrow. I think we only draw. If we draw, playoffs are done. Although ideally, I would like to go to Plymouth with nothing to play for, because then it's just a better away day because there's no pressure, and we might get to see Ivo Panda play. Anyway, they were robbed. United, yeah, Anthony cupping his ears like that. Disgusting. Disgusting. You immature little spinning top child. You bottled a 3-goal lead against a championship club. Granted, a decent championship side. But still, you're Manchester United and you were 3-0 up. And you fell apart in a 15-20 minute spell. Got lucky with a bit of VAR existing. And then won on penalties. You have absolutely no right to be turning your back to face the Coventry fans and the Coventry players and be cupping your ears, especially when you're as shit as Anthony is week after week. Pipe down. But Harry Maguire, class. You could see that he was happy and was buzzing to be going to an FA Cup final, But equally, he respected the fact that Coventry did something absolutely Herculean and commended them for it. And that's class. And that is why, despite all the scrutiny he comes under, ultimately, he should still be Man United's captain. In my view, he might not be the best player and people might ridicule him, but ultimately, you'd never... The way... Bruno Fernandes as a captain is someone who frustrates me massively. Against Fulham, that's a prime example. Dives, rolls around like a pig in mud, screaming in pain, and then sees that the attack's still on, stands up, and all of a sudden there's nothing wrong with him. That is pathetic for a captain to be doing that. Utterly, utterly pathetic. You would not catch Louis Coyle doing that if his life depended on the best bit of play acting you've ever seen. He wouldn't do it. Fernandes isn't captain material, quite simply. And Maguire's actions there show that he is. Was a Ruby fit for Ipswich? A bit cringe, but wanted. I don't know. I don't know is the honest answer. Shock Luton agreed to it as well, definitely. Coventry will be knackered, and that could massively play into our favour. Jeff, I'm not wearing a costume. Anyway, stats against Watford. I've not looked at these. More shots on target, more possession. Ozan. The pressure of Vicarage Road got to him. The pressure of Vicarage Road just got to him, I think. And it's a shame, because usually, right, he is Mr. Reliable from 12 yards. But I think just the pressure of knowing what happened at Watford and the fact that they all think he's shite and we know he's not, I think it just got to him. Quite simply. Anyway. Two seconds. Okay. Coventry's team then. The team in the FA Cup was Brad Collins in goal. He'll drop out and Ben Wilson will come in. But other than that, it's their strongest team that they played. Back four was Bobby Thomas, Liam Kitching, and Joel Latabodieri. Wing backs were Miran van Eerwijk and Jake Bidwell. Midfield, Callum O'Hare, Ben Sheaf, and Josh Eccles, with Ellis Sims and Hadji right up front. After 120 minutes, plus penalties, they will be shattered. But equally, although they'll be shattered, they'll be out for revenge. So, that is why I am approaching this game with a little smidge of trepidation, because it's a good and bad time to be playing them, really. Because after that, they'll be knackered, but the manner in which they lost it, they'll be fuming. So they're gonna want to take it out on someone and batter a team. And could that be us? I hope not. Equally, they're coming off the back of 2 consecutive losses in the league. One to Southampton and then losing 3-0 to Birmingham. Before that, they did beat Leeds. but then did lose to Cardiff before that. So in the league, they've lost 3 out of their last 4. So we shall see on that one. Us unbeaten in 4, but it's only, what's that? 2 wins in 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 wins in 10. And that's not playoff form, really. Well, no, it's absolutely not playoff form. Well, the league table shows we are still just about clinging on. And when I say just about, I mean just about. If we get anything less than a point tomorrow, it is done, quite frankly. It is done. Well, I think even if we get a point tomorrow, it's done. It's 5 points with 2 games to go. Norwich just need a point out of their last 2 games and it's done. And if you look who they play, they should get that point against Swansea at home easily. West Brom, though. Sheffield Wednesday still scrapping. And Preston will have nought to play for come the final day, more than likely. When these 2 slipped up on Saturday, we should have hammered Watford, or at least beaten them. They're in like 15th. Not playing for anything. Hadn't won at Vicarage Road all year. Hadn't won at Vicarage Road in 2024. Still haven't won at Vicarage Road in 2024. And we let them off the hook. Didn't capitalise. We had a chance there to cut the gap to 4 points. And then if we beat Coventry, who, can I also say, 3 points below us, have 2 games in hand. Those games, us and Ipswich, so much has got to go our way. It's so unlikely. And Ipswich are fighting for everything. They've got Coventry there. They won't be able to go up automatically when we play them on Saturday, but against Coventry, they will be able to just about seal it, if not definitely seal it, if results go their way. Only problem for them is their goal difference is inferior to that of both Leeds and Leicester. In terms of the relegation zone, you know what, right? Sheffield Wednesday staying up is a price I'm willing to pay if we get rid of Birmingham and Huddersfield. It's a price I'm willing to pay. I would have adored Sheffield Wednesday to go down, but if them staying up means both Birmingham and Huddersfield go, then I am a happy man. Quite simply, easy. I can't believe I'm saying this, but come on, Sheffield Wednesday. It is already done. It is already done. You're right. Anyway, around the grounds, I'll just tell you this. There's one game in this midweek, and it's Southampton versus Leicester. Memorable match when we beat them 2-0 at their place 2 seasons ago. Richie Smallwood and Ryan Longman with the goals. Team that day was Matt Ingram in goal. Back 3 was Alfie Jones, Sean McLaughlin and Jacob Greaves. Wing backs, Ryan Longman, Brandon Fleming. Midfield 2 of Smallwood and Slater. The 2 sort of inside forwards were Honeyman and Lewis Potter with Tom Eaves up top. Bench, Harvey Cartwright, the goalkeeper. Callum Elder, Greg Doherty, Aliyah Syed Manesh, Tom Huddleston, Dishon Bernard and Marcus Force with Shotter in charge. And then the last time we played these guys, it was a score draw, 1-1. Aaron Connolly's little flick-on header, 87th minute. Beautiful. Should have beaten them, though. Should have beaten a team at home, and we only got a point. Whoa. Story of our season. Team that day was Matt Ingram in goal, back four Louis Coyle, Alfie Jones, Jacob Greaves and Ruben Vinagre. Midfield three of Seri, Slater and Twine. Delap was wide right on this game because Connolly was up front with Philogene on the left. Bench. Ryan Alsop, Sean McLaughlin, Alayar Syed Manesh, Adama Traore, Harry Vaughan, Tyler Morton. I think they're on debut. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jason Lakilo, Andy Smith, and Cyrus Christie, with Rossignol, of course, the gaffer. Our record against Coventry is not too bad. Unbeaten against them in our last four. All of those games played in the last 2 seasons. Yeah. Beaten 2-0 at their place that we just touched on in March 2022 with Smallwood and Longman the scorers. Oscar's hat-trick got us a 3-2 win in August under Shotter. Drew 1-1 at their place with an Oscar goal saving us again under Rossignol, and then drew against them at home earlier this season as well. Was that Morton on debut there? I'm fairly certain it was. Same for Philogene, or was that Leeds? I don't know. I can't be bothered to check, quite frankly. Shared shirts. I have got a belter, right? Ta-da! Nick Proschwitz. This is a belt. I think this might be the best one I've ever done. When I was researching this, I didn't believe Nick Proschwitz. And I didn't know Nick Proschwitz played for Coventry until I was looking through what players I could choose. I'd forgotten we'd sold him to Brentford, to be honest. He just sort of disappeared and ended up getting his wedding vegetables out in a hotel lobby and getting a criminal conviction for it. And he's now an under-17s coach at Hoffenheim, I want to say. Anyway, signed for us in 2012. Missed a penalty in that game against Cardiff, which could have made going up so much easier if he'd scored it, because Cardiff went straight up the other end and scored. Was that a penalty of the run? I think it was that Nicky Maynard scored. And that just puts us under too much stress. And we were waiting for the Leeds-Watford game to finish because that got delayed because every single Watford keeper to ever exist got injured that day. But anyway, Nick Proschwitz missed that penalty. The only German I know of that can't score penalties. Was with us for a bit of the Premier League year, left us in 2014 after 37 appearances and 7 goals. Signed for Brentford. Brentford loaned him out for the second half of the 2014-15 season to Coventry, where he played 9 times and scored once. And then Brentford sold him back to Germany. I think he was at Eintracht Braunschweig for a little bit. I'm not sure whether he went there straight away. Jesus Christ, his career is long. He was loaned out to Barnsley as well when we had him for a bit. Oh no, we sold him to Paderborn. Then they sold him to Sint-Truiden in Belgium. They sold him to Sparta Rotterdam. They then moved him on to SV Meppen in Germany. He then signed for Eintracht Braunschweig, where he got his phallus out in a hotel reception. Yeah, Nick Proschwitz. Absolutely. His Wikipedia says he's still playing for VfB Eppingen, which I don't think he will be. Oh no, what? So, his Wikipedia says, on the 1st of July 2023, Proschwitz was announced as an under-17s coach at Hoffenheim, his boyhood club. In September 2023, he signed a contract with... Oh, it's an amateur team. Forget it. It's an amateur team. Ignore that. Ignore everything I've just said. I do, Will. That's because every single week, pretty much, I find better ones. So, like, for Coventry and for Bristol City, I didn't think it'd get any more niche than Liam Walsh. Lo and behold, it has. For Birmingham, I think I used Liam Walsh for Birmingham as well. That's pretty niche. But Nick Proschwitz is he's just mental. Alan McGregor for Cardiff was a brilliant one. Who else have I used this season? Tommins for Huddersfield was all right. Leeds, Matthew Pennington was an interesting one. Leicester, Nobby Solano, that was good. Middlesbrough, I haven't really got a niche one that I've used. Millwall, Martin Waghorn was a good one. Sunderland, Dame and Doy, I like that one. What others have I done? Keith Andrews last week was a bit rubbish. Everyone knows he played for City, but yeah, I love a good shared shirts. This year has been my year of niches. Maybe next year we'll have a break from the niche ones and we'll just go for like players who have played for City recently or quite well known to have played for both clubs, like Jordi de Vries and QPR. Reece Burke and West Ham, I don't know, something like that. Ryan Giles and Luton, if he's not here and Luton have sold him on, something like that. Callum Elder for us and Leicester, they're quite obvious ones. Portsmouth, ooh. I'm going to have a look now who they're in, because they've got Gavin White, who plays for them now. I can't think of any Portsmouth ones off the top of my head, you know. Apart from Gavin White and Sonny Bradley. I can't think of any. Okay, that's two straight away. Okay, they're two pretty recent examples that I could use. I'm not going to tell you who they are. Ryan Allsop played for Portsmouth. When? League One finishes this weekend as well. When? It was loaned to Portsmouth in 2016. Bloody hell. Oh my God, he was. Fair play. Fair play, Ryan. Never knew that. There are hardly any pictures of him. Wow. Never knew that. Anyway, let's move on. While I'm doing this, you lot put your predicted scores in the chat. My predicted team is Allsop in goal. Back four. Coyle comes back in. Jones, Greaves, Jacob, the back four. Morton, Seri, Carvalho in midfield. Abdush on the right. Philogene on the left. Up top, Delap. Harsh on Tufan. I know he's going to be a massive knock to his confidence getting dropped, especially after that penalty miss. But Delap's got to come in now. Panda, the bench goalkeeper. Oh my God, I've not changed the... Ignore Louis Coyle there. Panda, Giles, McLaughlin, Tufan, Traore, Slater, Christie, Connolly, and throw Billy Sharp in there as well. I can't believe I've left Louis Coyle in there. That's unbelievable. Stupid from me. Jeff says 1-1. That I believe is AGU. I'm fairly certain it is. Yes, it is. 2-1 to us. Say both AGU and Will. Right. Mine. 1-1. 1-1. Playoffs done. There we go. Thank you for watching, everyone. Safe travels to Cov if you're going tomorrow. I shan't be going because I've got too much work to do. See you later. Take care. Up the Tigers and all that jazz. Bye-bye.